Good morning. How is everybody doing this morning?
Fantastic. See that? You're so well trained. You're so succinct to everything at this point. Good job, Sam. My time is over. I'm done.
Nice. Sam is ready to take over the show. I am excited. We are joined this morning with Sam and Sean Lardo. We just wrapped up 3 days of pitches, 1.5 hours apiece for the last Tuesday, Wednesday, and Monday. Doing this all backwards today with the ConnectWise crew, and we're going to do a deep inside look into the process leading up to the pitches, where it's going to go from here. We're going to learn more about the program that goes behind it. I'm excited too. I can't see what they're going to wait to see what they're going to say, Brett. If they've been tagging along, they know everybody on this call, but maybe there's a few people that are just jumping in the middle of our series. So let's just do a quick, brief introduction, Sam and Sean, and we're going to jump right into the topic. So, Sam, take us away.
Yep. Good to see you guys as always. Thanks for jumping on. I work for ConnectWise, obviously, and I run the PitchIT program here with my good pal Sean Lardo, which for those of you who don't know, it's a 16-week incubator program for startups in the MSP space that are competing for a pool of $150,000 in cash and prizes, and in the end, they get to pitch themselves at Connect Global. But like you said, we've gotten through the rigorous part. The pitches are through, but we won't get too much into that yet.
Sean, you can retire. Sam's already doing your job.
Sounds good.
That was really good. That was a great summary of the program.
I'm just going to sit back and enjoy my coffee.
Just wait till I shave my head and grow my beard out. Then it'll be uncanny.
You can just say, hi, I'm Sean.
Or creepy. I love it creepy. Okay. Well, I'm Sean Lardo, VP IT Nation Communities. Obviously work for ConnectWise, just like Sam said, which I don't know why we had to say that. But yeah, I am I'm just involved in PitchIT at this point. I just am the observer, I guess, at this point. I sit back and do nothing. No, it's I work with all the contestants. I'm with Andrea Barrow, myself. We're the ones that we reconstructed the program 5 years ago to turn it into what it is today, which has become a very successful program. It's the only competition program in our industry still, which is insane. And it's good to watch it grow.
I love it. I see you brought a special shirt today, Sean. Give us a rundown on what that is.
Oh, you know what? This is Sophia the First. Yes, Brady does. And so Sophia the First today is my youngest and last of daughters' first day of her senior year. And her name is Sophia. So I bought her the backpack, which like when I bought, I was like, "Oh, Sophia the First backpack. That's cool." It ended up being like this big. It's hysterical. It's like,
yeah,
like I think she can put like her phone in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. First day of her senior year. So it's like the three of us couldn't be in all polar opposites of our life at this point. I'm phasing out my children and raising children. John, you have very little ones that haven't even touched or thought about school yet. Yeah. And Sam hasn't even thought about children yet. So it's amazing.
Let's jump into that instead today. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Let's talk about parenting and where we are in stages of life.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds a lot more
interesting.
No, yeah, it's not a lot more interesting. I want to jump into the Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday pitch fest we just had here. I'm excited to dig into that. So let me give you kind of a rundown on my side, but then I want to hear the work that went into your side, right? Because I'm one of the 19 contestants that pitched over the last 3 days. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work if you do it right. It's a lot of work to prepare. It's a lot of work to succinctly pitch in 5 minutes. It's a lot of work to get all of the answers. There's a verbose rubric with a limited amount of time. And it's a high pressure situation for a lot of vendors. And I bet a lot of vendors are sitting here, myself being incredibly competitive, just dying, waiting to hear anything. I don't care win or loss. Just the middle sucks. And that's all happened just this week. So give me a rundown.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me jump in and let Sam wrap it up here. Because I think there's some things we just have to highlight here. Like you said, for your random non-chronological order of days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, those were internal investment pitches. However, we also have the battle royale with Matt Solomon that we do. So, and I want to make sure we acknowledge that because you all are going through 2 different pitches you have to do over the course of 3 weeks, right? And they're all 5 minutes. And obviously the only variation is when you're with the battle royale, you're pitching as if you're talking to a prospect. Whereas when you're doing the internal prelim pitches, you're doing as if you're trying to look at investors and also talking to customers. So you have to run the gamut of both. So, and I'm saying this on purpose because the high pitch, the high pressure piece you mentioned, right? We made a decision years ago that when we did the internal pitch on the Matt Solomon one, you can't see anybody. It's just you on screen. It's just your presentation, right? If you noticed, if you watched everybody at the Battle Royale on the first day, which was last week, and the second one come up later today, everybody did fantastic. Everybody has little glitches, right? But in general, everybody did fantastic with very little issue, if anything, and everybody made their time. As soon as everybody got in front of those people with the judges with the video cameras on and all the judges looking at them as they did it, and it's something people need to pay attention to. How many people, we had several go over time and stumble where they never stumbled, right? And so, because it is a high pressure situation, and we did this on purpose, it's by design. When you're in sales and you're growing your business, you get one shot a lot of times to convince somebody right away, right? And you get people all staring at you. How many times, and John, you do this when the first time you were on stage, it's very difficult, but you got to show up, right? And you got to stay within your time, and you got to be impactful, right? You can't stumble. If you start blumbering around, it'll affect your presentation, and you are being scored by people all the time on if they're going to work with you or not. They can like you and have a beer with you, but trusting you to their business is a whole different conversation. So I love it. I love watching everybody, and you can see the look on their face when they see all the judges, because it's not like 1 or 2 people talking to them. They're literally, we have 7 to 9 different people watching them of all various accomplishments too. So yes, it's amazing.
Yeah. You can do what I do and just step very far back off the stage.
Sean's spot on there, and a big part of the investor pitches that he didn't get a chance to touch on there is the Q&A from our board of judges there. And look, we want big game players, and we like having their cameras on because we want to make you guys sweat a little bit, see how you pressure perform. But you can have your routine spot on, right, and you run through your 5-minute pitch all day, but if you can't answer those questions after the fact, right, we've seen people crumble there, and we just want to make sure that all aspects of your business. You're not just reading off a script, but your business inside and out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Man, the Q&A is the fun part. The Q&A is the exciting part. That's where it doesn't matter what's on your slides. You got to answer the real questions that are that you've kept off your slides. We'll put it that way.
Well, let's talk about that, right? When you prepare your presentation, you're looking for the next conversation to want to happen, right? When you present, you're only looking to capture the attention, so they want more. And they should ask questions like, how did you do this? Is that really even possible? It's okay if they ask those questions. You want a challenge, right? But when you prepared yours, John, and you did a very good job on it. And I watch you on stage. I've seen you speak, and you do a good job of keeping that. So, and you should give some advice instead of us to people watching. How do you put your presentation together to prepare for under 5 minutes and keep me wanting more?
So, first off, I'm not going to act like this is a one-man band here. Like, I have to give kudos where kudos is due. Tim did an amazing job. He built the presentation, and that thing was one of the best pitches I think I've ever gotten to have the pleasure of pitching.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you noticed yesterday, we actually dropped a couple of things without explaining them, hoping they would spawn questions. We were intentional about not explaining things, hoping that we could buy ourselves more time on the Q&A to answer rubric-related questions, so that we could round out our score in areas while covering the core things of our growth. So for us, a lot of the pitch was like, we got to hit everything in the rubric. That's bare minimum, number one requirement. Absolutely everything in the rubric must be covered on a slide with at least 10 to 15 seconds dedicated to each of those components. But then you've got to leave some blemishes that they think they're going to poke, but the answers for, and they're not blemishes, they're advantages. And so there are blemishes in every company, don't get me wrong, but seeding the narrative to where they ask what they think is going to be a hard question that you are already ready to answer, and intentionally leaving some gaps there is, I think, something we tried to do. Every company has their holes, but I feel like you want to know the questions that are going to get asked by the judges by presenting it in such a way that you leave those questions to be asked. I guess that's the way I'll say it.
My favorite line was said by you. You can't claude your way out of this.
It's true. I can tell you it's a fact. You can't claude your way into what we're doing here.
But no, right. But I think the fact of the matter is that is applicable to every aspect of the business we talk about, not just yours in general. I love that line because it's become a crutch right now, right? AI has become this big time crutch. Like, we'll just go to AI. They'll figure it out for us. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it requires critical thinking on your behalf because you can only do so much. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. You can't claude your way into every problem. What's very interesting is if you were sorry, now you're gonna get me on a random stud speech, but if you're building something great and you want something defensible, it has to be something that Claude can't have the knowledge of. And I mean this, and so I said it yesterday. I said there's a deep level of empathy in our industry that nobody in the Valley can just go Claude their way into our industry. Otherwise, Claude would just have our industry.
Yep.
Like, it's the mix of empathy and understanding when building that Claude just doesn't have empathy.
Right.
Oh, MSPs want this. This is all that matters. No. 15 years of MSP experience tells you this is what they want, not what Claude thinks it is. So, sorry, step speech over. I've had a lot of coffee.
When we're covering that, like the pre-pitch, we harp on that with you guys a lot. We want you to touch on your background because a lot of you guys do come from MSPs, so you understand the hurt. And so many of these pitches are good to start off with. I worked, 10 years in MSP. We ran into this problem over and over, and that's what inspired me to make this product. And it gives you guys credibility on your background. It also makes your investors want to listen to you more.
I agree. And what's interesting is most of the people now in that PitchIT have come from the MSP industry. You didn't see any Silicon Valley-based startups in there, did you?
Nope. No, I don't think you're going to, because it comes back to the clodding your way into this, right? It's not going to happen that way because yes, you can use Claude to do some coding, right? You can use AI to do some coding, right? You can write some scripts, whatever, but you can't use that to create relationships and build business advantages.
Yeah.
You literally can't. You have to. And so most of these people have been in the space to some degree for quite some time and have met peers that's what they built their stuff off of, right? But they had a challenge, they fixed it with their own stuff. And then they said, oh my goodness, they told their friend, and I'm like, hey, John, check out what I just did to solve my problem. You're like, I have the same problem. Can I use it? Yeah, here, check it out. You're like, oh, this is really good. Why aren't you selling this? I mean, it's essentially how ConnectWise was started.
Yeah.
Right. It's ConnectWise MSP built a PSA for tickets for themselves and was like, hey, other people can use this, and started a business around that. So literally that is the genesis of it all for all of them. And it's great to watch. And the only challenge we ever have, I think, it's a fact. The only challenge we have is them learning that they're now a vendor, not an MSP anymore. That's the biggest hurdle. They don't realize they're no longer the MSP. The line I tell them all, the line I say specifically to them, that to sum it up very easy, I say, you're no longer having the drinks bought for you. You now have to buy the drinks. And they're like,
so that is also, I went through that a decade ago, and it's very difficult to drop the MSP mentality and become a SaaS vendor, because you go from I'll solve every problem in your house to I can only fix the plumbing. And it hurts you to see the roof collapsing while you're changing while you're changing the plumbing out. But you can't touch the roof because you can't scale.
It's a complete different mindset. Yeah. How do you maintain that focus and discipline on what you're actually here to deliver?
Though that's another stump speech in the world of agents. You can do a lot of plumbing and roofing, but stump speech unrelated. Let's talk about the rubric a little bit, because that's something I quite rigorously pushed on. You must answer every question. Sean, you remember me 4 years ago. I answered half the questions. You were mad. We'll talk about that on another show. But I missed the pitch because I didn't answer all the questions on the rubric. And quite frankly, that's the only thing that chooses whether you move forward or not. So let's talk about the rubric a little bit. Who wants to jump on this one? Sam? Sean?
Sam.
Yeah, I think we took some time to look over the rubric and touch on points that, given Sean's background being going through these startups, that when you find a successful pitch, these are all aspects part of it. And while it's good to, like you said, touch on all these parts of the rubric, they're really just the framework to help then bring out your vision and your voice when it comes to giving the actual pitch. So that's kind of what we've been looking at. And like I said, we want to give you guys credibility. We want to see how you're going to perform in the market and everything going around that.
Yeah. So
let me add to that real quick though. Okay. Because we touched on this a few episodes ago. We talked about this too. It is a framework, like Sam said, and the art of communication is important here, right? It's how you tell your story around it all as well. If you just, it's not a grocery checklist, but it is a grocery checklist. But you can't just go itemize line by line by line by line answers, right? Because otherwise you're not. There's a level of showmanship that has to take place, and you have to have it because, yes, you can answer all these things, but there's not. If you notice, we don't put a section there that says, give us an example or a story of something happened to you. That's not in there. That's for you to interpret and figure out how to do that, right? So it's just to help you get along, and you should be able to tell the story.
Yeah. I think as I dig into the rubric, it's hard because I believe there's 7 different items, if I recall correctly. Let's see how well I can do here. You have go to market, you have traction, you have team, you have likelihood of success, you have, oh no, somebody help me here. I got 4 of them. Help me out.
Sam, good. Sam, you help out?
Sam, can you remember? Throw them on the spot. I tried to buy you some time. What did I miss?
You got your compelling value prop. I guess you can throw your time, talent, treasure into that team aspect.
Yeah.
Your use of funding there. Obviously, everybody's got their eyes on the prize at the end. And then, at the end of the day, what problem are you solving? You gotta identify that problem and establish how your company is going to be the one to solve that.
Yeah. I actually, I like a question Tim asked here. This would be a good one. In retrospect, if you could double the weight of one rubric item, I'm going to say, and I don't like Tim's opt-out, and half the weight of a rubric item, which 2 would you pick? So I'm going to start on Sean because we got to throw it. We got to throw it to the guy that's been around the longest in the program.
So
the weight of one item and reduce the weight of another.
So it depends on what stage you are as a business, right? I'll give you an example. I'll give you a reason why. The stage you're at. I
still want my answer at the end.
No, I'll give you an answer. So for instance, if you're in the investor stage, right, and you're going for investment, right, you can have a great product, but what's the investors going to value? How are they going to evaluate you? Let's say you made $100,000 so far off this product, right, and you're 6 months into it. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
When they go to invest, they're going to compare you to every other similar product because you're not seasoned enough, right? So now it comes to time, talent, and treasure, right? That's what it does, right? Because now they start looking at your people. Well, who's in there to ensure success of my investment? It's not about the product anymore. It's about who's in there talent-wise. Do you have a marquee player there? Can I trust that? And that's what so if you're at that stage, I would make that double worth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If you're in the angel pre-seed, the only thing. So I always say when you're betting on an angel or pre-seed, you're literally only betting on the human, and you're betting that they'll be successful despite your advice. That's all that matters at the stage.
Right. But if you're now, absolutely, people should know that. And in the pre-stage piece, they're looking at your talent and who's going to drive you forward. So it's double. Whereas if you're on the other side of that summit, it's the opposite, right? You can cut that in half almost because you already have established, you're already seasoned. They can look at a trend because there's a trend involved. So that's part of it. Now, that's pretty simple for me to answer that too, I feel like. I double, in general, always what you're really solving for. Always is double. Because nobody can answer the damn question. It's so difficult. What are you solving for and how you're solving it is always the biggest challenge for people. I don't know why. And it's worth double because, again, if we get on the call with all people who are in PitchIT this year, and from day one, I say, what do you do? They'll get into all the features. Every one of you will. You can't help it. It's inevitable. But I still know what you do. And then you use your own terminology. I don't know what the hell that means. You use your own internal language gap barrier that it's literally a language barrier. So I would double that every single time. Having something, I don't think you can have anything. I don't think you can because everything is a consequential piece of building this to tell a full story. If you short step any one of those, it is a ripple effect across the board.
I'll answer them and throw it over to you, Sean.
Sam, you already threw it to Sean.
Sorry, Sam. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Also, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday.
Yeah, I don't know where we're at today.
We're all over the joint. That's all right. And no, it's a great question from Tim. And kind of to play off what Sean said, depending on what stage of the business you're in. I think that what I would double is your contribution to industry. And I think that's a hard question to answer a lot of the times. And in the Q&A with our internal judges, they got right to it. They would ask, some of the presenters just straight up, how is this different than what's already out there? What are you doing differently than what's already been established? Who are your competitors and why are you ranked above them? And that's a hard question to answer on the spot. And, we had some answers like you said, empathy and a few other things, but when you're put on like that, you really have to know how are you helping improve MSPs? What are you doing to change the industry and be that, that next step into the next level of everything? And I would say, once you're past the funding, I would say the use of funding, you could potentially half that. But at the end of the day, you got to know where your direction is. So it doesn't matter, if you can half use of funding, but if you don't know where you're going, you could be handed $1 million and squander that in a week and your business grows nowhere.
Yeah, I was going to land there too. I was going to say half use of funding, I think half, because it's like there's only so many answers in that one. I get that they're important. So I'm just going to leave that there.
Keep in mind too, even from what Sam said, contribution to industry, that's subjective.
Yeah.
Because what you consider contribution, I don't, and vice versa, right? And so it's impossible to have anything. It is because you don't know if you're talking to judges, or you're talking to investors, or you're talking to an audience. Everybody has their own slice of the pie they make up to pay attention to what's going to catch them.
Yeah, I agree. I think contribution to industry, I would personally double, because I think contribution to the industry actually is a ripple into most of the other metrics, especially in our space. Like, go to market at all of the stages here on everybody pitching, it's contribution to industry. That's how our industry works. Right? You give to the industry and the industry gives back.
Not wrong, but depend on what stage you are as a business too. Again, it comes back to, we're always stuck in what stage you are as a business.
Yeah.
No matter what can we do. So like, it depends on what I'm talking to you. Because you're the prime example of this, John. When I first met you and you were being soft about joining PitchIT even the first time we go around, you're like,
you love this story.
What stage were you in then, John? What stage were you in? Because you had zero.
I was in struggling founder mode. I was in
your confidence was down here on it, because you were like, there's no way I belong there. And it took me sitting there talking to you for 45 minutes. I'm like, dude, you have nothing to lose. Let's go figure this out. We literally walked around Chicago talking, and I'm like, get it together, John. What's wrong? And so now, John, that stage. Now, what stage is John at now? John's at this stage. If you talk to him I wish we could have recorded our first conversation with your uncertainty about if you thought you belonged at that point or not, because that'd be great to compare it to. It'd have been like one of those, like when you watch the videos where they show a band doing their first tryout, and they're like, we're not sure, we're hoping we can make it, to like, then they become Nirvana, right? And you're like, oh my God, that's the same person. That was the conversation with John. So every one of those questions is difficult to answer because it depends on what stage of your journey you're in.
Fair enough. Does that come into consideration in the back room? Do you know? Is that out of bounds?
I don't know. We have no idea.
It's just a magic black box and 3 answers.
We literally wait for the results from the judges. We stay far away from it. They have the same scoring. They know the scorecards. They look at them. They answer the questions. They have their own opinions. They are allowed to talk to each other. We are not involved in any of the conversations until they hand us their results. And that's all by design.
Yeah, no, makes a ton of sense.
Well, it becomes impartial.
Yeah.
Right. And if you noticed, every single person that was judging came from a background that was different, between security professionals to sales professionals to marketing professionals. Literally, they run the gamut of all, because that way they all have a different perspective on what they're looking for out of you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love it. So let's talk about where we go from here. When do we get to hear the big announcement?
Never. No. we have to get through the next 2 weeks of Battle Royale because that's all part of the scoring. Remember, the three finalists are selected from the scorecards from the last 3 days of pitching, and then the 3 days of the Battle Royale, which are all done by surveys from MSPs that are viewing. So everything is being quantified and calculated and then done, right?
Yeah.
So what will happen is after we wrap up, we will be, whoever the finalists are, we'll reach out to and get them all squared away. And then the announcement will come out in the first week, approximately week and a half of September. The pre-finals will be announced, and that's when everybody will know. And only the finalists will know they're finalists. The other people will not know anything if they are or not. That's by design, so nobody can start talking because we could have you all sign NDAs and somebody's still going to talk and we can't prove who it was, so it doesn't matter. So we just keep it simple.
Yeah, I love it. All right, everybody needs to just hold their breath. We'll get there.
I'm so you know what, I will tell you this, John. It's the two hardest times is when we have to let everybody know the ones that didn't make it because we get close to you all. We know you all really well now, right? And then the real hard time though is when we're on stage at the finals. And and you have to announce, I'm happy for the winner, but there's two that aren't. So it's 2/3 are not happy now. And I like them all. And it's just and you can see the disappointment. You feel bad.
Yeah. We felt so bad that we even increased the prize money for him because we didn't want you guys to go home empty-handed. We'd seen enough of the tears and everything.
Damn, he's so good.
Besides Marvin B. steak knives.
Marvin B. steak knives are a treasure to behold.
Sam, you are just so good. You just swung that home so strong. Look, can we just fire Sean and promote Sam in the PitchIT program and just
Yes, we can.
That was such well executed input right there, well planted. I mean that in all the right ways.
Sam's built his zingers. I seen them continuously do them. He can't maintain that. He can't maintain that pace is the problem. He's like,
I throw my one out there and I got to replenish after a little bit.
You know what? Let's get back on a live stream at 5:00 today and let's see how Sam looks then.
Yeah, I know. Well, see, that's why I do the coffee show and not the afternoon show.
No, there are times I sit with Sam at the end of we have long days, obviously, at times, right? And I'm like, let's book a bay and go hit some golf balls for a couple hours, middle of the day, and do nothing. Because he looks, and I'm doing this for him, not for me, because he looks exhausted and he looks weathered.
It is for Sam. I'll join the golfing for Sam. Yeah.
Sean's only 28. That's how that's what the industry does.
Holy crap.
No, I'm 27 and a half. I'm not even there yet. I'm almost there. But
oh my goodness. All right. Well, all right. So we've talked about the pitches. We've talked about the rubric. We've talked about where we get to hold our breath until the next time we're going to talk in about 6 weeks from now. We'll know who's going to that final stage. So we are T-minus 55 business days from IT Nation Connect. I only know that because I'm keeping track.
Should we not do another live stream after that finalists are announced?
That we will be. Yeah. We're going to have a live stream in between, and then we're going to have a live stream live at IT Nation with the winner.
But I'm saying, if we announce, let's just say we announce on September 9th or the 2nd, depending on when we get the results and get them all together and tallied up, right? Let's say we make that announcement. If we stick to our Thursday schedule, you either have the 3rd or the 10th. And I don't know. And this is the thing, John. Do you want to do a live stream if you're not one of the finalists?
I don't care.
Okay. I mean, it's a fair question is all I'm saying. Maybe you may you know what? To hell with you all. I don't want to talk about this. I'm taking my ball and going home, which I would appreciate too.
No, I've already committed. I'm going to do it. This isn't just for me or anything. This is for the industry. So,
well, maybe Tim will be the host that day because you just you don't feel yourself that day. That's fine. It happens.
I will say this series are already scheduled. I'm going to be doing one on the 3rd with the Alex Farling and Wes Spencer, and we're going to be talking about AI workshopping. And on the 10th, I've got the VP of AI enablement over at New Charter talking about AI strategies. So those are going to be hard ones to kick off.
Yeah, we can't ask them to move. Well, you know what? That's fine. We'll just do our own show. It's fine.
We have our own show.
We'll do our second coffee shop talk.
We
might just have to have you on with Adam and Sean then to kick off.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll bring you to Central Mafia's live streams. What we'll do.
Yes, you can be the guest this time.
You'll be the guest.
I'll be up there. No, that is when we're doing it. We're doing it at Central Mafia. I'll be up in Chicago. Guys, we've logistics this. We've already talked about.
That's correct. Well, yeah, but we have our own live stream that we're doing that we do on Tuesdays. That's what I'm saying. We can bring you on as the guest.
Oh yeah, let's go. Throw me in, coach.
That's what I'm saying, especially if we have the results.
Yeah, throw me in.
Especially if you're one of the finalists after the results.
Don't mess with me, man. You know how freaking competitive I am. Like this.
He says that to everybody. This is
gonna wreck me for like 2 weeks.
I'm just saying, if you happen to really be one of the finalists, I'd be excited.
just saying.
I don't know for sure what's going to happen yet. We're waiting to find out because we're not charged. But
we have a live stream on the 17th, gents. We're going to get into it live up in Chicago. I'm going to be live up in Chicago.
Sam, we're going to book him for the live stream for Central Mafia, me and Adam Bolensky. And, hopefully, we're like celebrating who the finalists are. And maybe it's going to be you. Maybe it's not, John.
We're going to be celebrating either way. I hope you.
As I said, we're going to celebrate the finalists. I said, maybe it's going to be you or not. Well, we don't know. We're going to celebrate.
Well, book it. Count me in. I'm in for wherever with this industry. I'm just saying we got another stream already announced on the 17th.
You know,
so don't worry.
Pay attention, Sam, to how John's frazzled a little bit about this because he's excited and he hates it. He wants to win so bad, and he's really trying to maintain composure. And I know John well enough to know that he's wound up about it right now. And that's why I like John so much because everybody should have this much passion about this shit. Everybody should.
Yeah, you got me all worked up here on a Thursday morning, Sean. You got me all worked up. Look, we have a PitchIT block on the 17th. I'll be in Chicago. I'll actually be up there at their Kaseya local event, but you're doing the Central Mafia the same day.
Yep, so 16, 17, we're doing this.
So I'll pop over because I can't imagine they're far. It's Chicago. It's all within.
We're in Burr Ridge, not in Chicago, because we use the users and they come for free. So
I wonder where Kaseya local is. I know I'll be at Kaseya local.
I have no idea where that is, but
this feels like a logistics off the stream kind of conversation we should be having. Not like
everybody watching. Come to Burr Ridge.
Yeah, what are you doing on Tuesday? You want to hang out? Let's make some plans. I got hot yoga.
If you're going to be in Chicago on the 17th, join us live at Coffee Chats. I think that's the end of our show. I think we're falling apart at this point, guys. Let's do this real quick.
It's a great morning show.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Look, I'm going to say this. We are at the end of our show, but I'm going to hand it over to Sam to sign us off. Sam, give us a little bit of rundown on PitchIT, what they can expect between now and our stream on September 17th, and why every MSP in the entire industry should be keeping their eyes on the PitchIT program.
Oh, pressure's on. Look, before the 17th, you can expect the 3 finalists to be announced. You'll know when they'll be pitching and where they'll be pitching at Connect Global in November. And the MSPs need to pay attention because this is the future of the space. All these vendors that come through PitchIT have an opportunity to make a huge change, and we know they will. That's why they're part of the program. So check out their pitches in the Battle Royale over the next 2 weeks, today at 12 o'clock and next Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern as well. And keep an eye out for our press release going about the 3 finalists. We're very excited and couldn't be more proud about all the vendors that have been a part of the program. So we thank you, John, for great pitches, and looking forward to see who gets selected.